So the information that you're about to hear will be covering is information about the transportation environment that we had to work with when we were building the transportation plan, some key Olympic dates that you should be aware of, what you can do, which is really travel smart for business, and of course some next steps for you as a business in downtown Vancouver. The information that you're going to hear was vetted and discussed and agreed to upon by all of the partners working on transportation for the Olympic and Paralympics. There are 7 of us, with VANOC, the City of Vancouver, Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, Whistler, BC Transit, Integrated Security Unit, and TransLink. TransLink is the lead for TravelSmart during the Games. The information that we used when we were putting together the plan was to recognize many things. One is that this is the largest event that will ever be held, or has ever been held in our region. We are also the largest city to ever host a Winter Games. That, of course, means that we do have periods of existing congestion in our community. And of course, we are limited by our geography, having water on 3 sides and accessible by bridges. The venues for the Games are actually located quite close together. And when we were looking at our best practices review, we saw that in other games, the venues were quite far apart. And so what all of this does is it brings together some conditions that make it very challenging to get around. And the last bits, of course, of the information is that we will have more people in the region. We expect between 60 and 135,000 ticket holders a day. And on top of that, an approximate 60,000 people that will be coming out to enjoy the celebratory sites in the downtown and throughout the region. And finally, we realized that we were working with less roadway. And what this all means, of course, is that we have to look at getting our visitors to their events and our residents to work, and we needed to come up with a plan to do that. Just to note, of course, that while the Games are a regional event, much of the activities is focused in the downtown Vancouver, and so again, that adds another element to the transportation planning. The information that you're seeing on this graph includes a 24-hour clock on the bottom. We've added to that a snapshot of the number of vehicles that are coming into the downtown on a typical day. And if we look at the road capacity that we have, you'll see here that between 7 and 10 a.m., there are periods of congestion. And you know what it's like when you drive into downtown during that time now. It gets slower during that time, and if there is an incident, the system does start to become quite challenging to get around. And most people are starting to get on their Blackberries and let folks in the office know that they're going to be late. During the Games time, we do expect our visitors to be coming out of their hotel rooms about 9 a.m., but you'll notice a considerable increase around noon. And the blue bars here show the estimates of those numbers of guests that will be moving around in the downtown. Now, of course, when we look at the roadway capacity that we have, which is going to be reduced, and you now see that we can expect, if we do nothing, we can expect congested periods between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And that's why we identified that we needed to take action. And so just a little bit more about the roadway changes that you can expect, and then we'll talk about TravelSmart for Business. So this map is available at the City of Vancouver website. It's vancouver.ca. We encourage you to make it available to your staff, to your clients, to your friends, to your family, anyone that you know. Make sure that they know this information, they have access to it. I'll quickly go over what the lines mean. The blue lines represent roads that will be Olympic lanes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is what a road with an Olympic lane will look like. It will only be the curb lane will be allocated for Olympic vehicles and TransLink vehicles. Motorists will be able to use the other lanes. And of course, if you do need to make a right-hand turn, you are able to do that from an Olympic lane, just like you do with a bus lane today. So the Olympic lanes are expected to be in place between February 4th to March 1st, and they include Burrard, Howe, Seymour, Georgia, Hastings. The red lines. These lines represent roads that will be closed for safety and security purposes between January 1st and March 1st. And they are really only around the venues, so around Olympic Village, around BC Place, and around the Convention Centre, which will become the main media centre. So the rumor that all of downtown is going to be shut down is not true, and these are really the roads that will be closed. The green lines, they represent roads that will be pedestrian corridors between February 12th and February 28th, and this will only be between noon and midnight. Between midnight and noon, that means motorists can drive on them. And of course, if you are needing to cross a pedestrian corridor, you'll be able to do so. Just recognize that it will take some time to do that. And the last set of lines are the orange lines, and they represent roads where parking will be stripped and stopping restrictions will be put in place that you'll not be allowed to stop along those roads. And that'll be in place between February 4th and March 1st. So those are the road changes that we are expecting in downtown Vancouver for the Olympic period. And what we identified, having looked at all of that information, is that we need to reduce vehicle traffic by at least 30%. And the strategies that were identified to achieve this goal is that we were meeting with businesses in the downtown. To date, we've met with over 750, and we've passed along this information and the message that we need to reduce vehicle traffic. It's been really terrific to see so much support for this initiative, and people are keen to help out, and that is terrific. But know that we're not targeting just businesses in the downtown. We've also been giving the same message and the request to students in schools, in elementary schools, to residents through their community associations. And of course, there's currently a general community awareness campaign underway to try to get everyone committed to reducing vehicle traffic during the Games. To help out with this and achieve our goal, it was important to improve the transit service that's on the street. So we'll go over that in terms of the transit enhancements that will be put in place. Of course, Canada Line SkyTrain has been up and running since August, and there will be lots of folks that will be using that. Beginning January 1st, there will be 48 additional SkyTrain cars placed on the Expo and Millennium lines. And that will add capacity not only by adding vehicles to the end of the existing trains, but also the new Mark II cars have more room inside, and so we're adding capacity there. Beginning January 21st, the City of Vancouver's 2010 streetcar will be in place. It will run until March 21st, and it's actually the vehicle that you see there in the middle picture. This service will link Granville Island to the Olympic Village Canada Line station. It'll be a free service, and frequencies will be between 6 and 10 minutes. Beginning February 1st, there will be enhanced night bus service that will be put in place when SkyTrain is not running. And on that same date, there are 25 bus routes that need to be detoured because of those road closures that we just showed you, and that will begin in service. And finally, here you see that the C-Bus between February 8th and 28th, the third C-Bus will be in place, providing a 10-minute frequency of service for folks that are traveling from and to the North Shore. And that's actually a 50% increase in service, which we hope that will make C-Bus more attractive to folks from the North Shore.